Hello Exiles, and today we're going to be discussing another third-party tool which you can use in the game. This tool is going to be more for just trading. There is no in-game shop or anything that was obviously shown in my previous video. Now if you've just stumbled across this video and you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm going to put a link up at the top of the video now for the previous videos that I did for Awakened POE, which is another software that I use for price checking, and then I'm going to put a link up here now which is for POE Overlay, which is probably the best tool to use for trading. Now that's not to say that this tool is not good at trading. It is very good. However, if I was to compare the two together, I would probably pick POE Overlay just because the interface I feel is a little bit more informative and a little bit more detailed, but you can choose whichever one you prefer and it's entirely your decision. Now before we go into the software, I would like to say thank you for everyone that is watching my videos. If you are enjoying my content, then throw us a like, throw us a subscribe, throw us a comment, and tell me what it is that you are looking forward to in 3.25, whether it be any of the quality of life changes that they have implemented, or whether it be you're curious to see how the Settlers of Calgur will turn out. I'm sure it will be a hell of a lot better than the way Necropolis turned out. Now with that being said, let's begin. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to go to Google and type in POE Lurker. Now the first link that will come up will be to GitHub. Just load that page up, scroll down, and you'll have a big blue button that says download. You click that and install the software. Now in terms of the actual page itself, there is obviously a bit of a guide here on obviously how to do it, and it shows you the popularity there with a little red graph to show you how well the actual app has been done. Now if for any reason you want to go through the user guide, and obviously other than the way I'm going to go through it in a second, you can just click on this link and it will open up a bit of a PowerPoint for you. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go through the actual user guide with you just so you can kind of see how it works, because the user guide is very informative. So first things first, obviously POE Lurker. It is a little tool, as you can see here, that will appear at the bottom of your screen, and these are all trade requests. So this is people that are wanting to buy items for you. Now all you need to do is you would click the middle icon, or you would just click the middle of the square, and what that would do is it would then send out a trade request, or it will send out a party invite. It'll send out a party invite to the actual person. So if you watch the screen now, you will click it, sends a party invite. Now once they obviously then join your hideout, you click it again when it goes green, and it will then start the trade with that person. That is obviously how it works. It's very self-explanatory and it's very easy. Now there are three corners on this square that you can also interact with. So obviously the top left corner will obviously tell them that you are busy. What it will do is it will send them back an automatic message to say I am currently busy. If you click on the I think if you click on the right hand side, you can dismiss it, and if you click on the bottom left option, which I think is down in the bottom left here, there is another option which is not showing as of yet. So it says here, this is obviously when you are wanting to do outgoing trades. So when you send out a trade to somebody else, the icon in your health globe will be how much you need to pay. Okay, and what it will do is next to your health globe, it will list the first four letters of the seller's name here. Now you can resend the trade offer by left clicking the icon here, or you can dismiss it by clicking the right one here. Now if you click in the middle, it will then join their hideout. This is obviously the price of the item, and again, as it says here, remove the trade offer. You can press the little red corner here and it will get rid of it. If you don't click that, it will automatically be removed after 40 seconds. So there is no pressure in you obviously having loads of these on your screen. The next thing as well is if, let's say, somebody wants to buy something, so there's a trade here that's come through. If you then go to your stash, usually it will then tell you within your health globe here the name of the actual stash that it's situated within. So let's say you have stash 1, stash 2, stash 3, and the item that this person wants to buy is in stash 3, it will say in your health globe here stash 3. Then all you need to do is click on your health globe, and what it will then do is, if you look in the chat here, it automatically will populate the chat with the item that they are wanting to buy, and it will then automatically highlight it in your stash, as you can see right here. So that is a little quick way to obviously be able to find the item that they want. Now there is also Lurker Pro. That obviously does give you a few more functionalities, so that's entirely up to you. So there is obviously a functionality as well where you can turn this on. I'm not too sure as to whether this is included within the Pro version or not, but basically when you ID an item, it will tell you what items are on it. So for example, it will display the useful information, obviously in sorting good items from bad items. So obviously I'm assuming the value of the score is based on how good the item is. Now obviously it'll tell you like life, resist and important affixes for each item class will be displayed. Example here, boots will have movement speed while gloves will have attack speed. Now obviously you can do this if you press Alt Shift on the item and it will then show you the ID at the time. Now, so that's one thing that you can do. There is also a dashboard, but obviously as you can see here, this is currently in development. This is the main screen that obviously helps you. So this is for the trades. So if you are obviously having incoming trades, then obviously one is the value of the trade. So it would either say here 1 chaos, and you may have a number here that says like 10 chaos or 10 divine or whatever it may be. The number 2 is this little white circle here. That indicates that the person is then in the same area. What I mean by that is that they are now in your hideout. 3, as we saw before, is to say that you are busy, and the top right corner, which is 4, is dismiss the offer. So let's say you'd already sold the item. Now the reason why I don't particularly use this software is just because they're the only 4 functionalities and they have to fit a lot of, like, it's quite fiddly, this little tiny little box. As you can imagine, it's down at the bottom of your screen, so it's not always the best. Sometimes you might click the wrong one, you might want to dismiss and you might accidentally invite them. You might dismiss the trade when again you might want to invite them. So it's entirely up to you. If you prefer it this way and you like it to be small, then that's entirely your option. Obviously there are also, you can do this, control click to tell them that it is sold. And obviously you can also do control shift and click to ask them if they're still interested. Let's say if you've been AFK. Now there are also other actions that you can do, as it says here that they are located, and obviously you can ask them, you know, what they want to do. You can change these within the settings. So as you can see here, look, busy, still interested, sold, thank you. You can mess around with this within the settings. So I've got it up here. If you go into the messages here, these are the settings that you would have. So this is where you would then have a mess around with it, and obviously you can change what messages are sent out. You can also change the alert that it makes. So there's an alert volume here. So if you click on the notification tab here, it tells you the offer tooltip and obviously join hideout and offer alerts and things. You can turn these on to mess around with the volumes and things like that, and do item alerts and things, you know, sims, things very similar. And that is basically it in terms of the actual guide through that's on here, on terms of the guide that's on GitHub. In the background here, there are also hotkeys that you could set up. So you could set up like invite and trade. So you could set that up for be like F. So if you wanted that to be like F3, done. Whisper, F4, busy, F5, dismiss, F6. And you can set all this up in the background if you really wanted to. There are also features for quick buttons to get to POE Ninja, jump to your hideout, show you how many remaining monsters there are, or maybe jump to your guild hideout and things like that. There are obviously other options that you can do. It's, you know, it's just a case of just playing around with the software. In terms of the advanced, again, you can have a mess around with things in here like ignore if it's already sold, make sure that it's always visible, obviously put a startup animation on, and if you really like the software and you want to go further, you can then be a Patreon and obviously do POE Lurker. That is entirely up to you. There is also one more thing which I've not really looked into, but it does say here that there is a build overlay. I'm going to assume that this is something to do with the cheat sheet on your passive skill tree. What it may do is it may show you where you need to go, and what I'll do is I'll just do a quick test on that now and let's see what it looks like. So I've imported a build here and I'm still trying to get to grips as to what's going on here, but obviously the items are along the bottom here, and obviously the main items are obviously on the bottom of the actual taskbar here in the actual software, but other than that I can't seem to figure out what it is. If I click on this, it does then bring up 3.24 and it does then bring up the actual skill tree itself. So it's a bit I'm not too sure as to how this works, so it may need a little bit of digging around just to obviously find out how that works. But obviously in terms of the build itself, this software I feel is more akin to something that you would use for trading and nothing really else. If you want to use it for multi-tools, then that's entirely your decision. But if I was going to use it, I'd probably just use it for the purposes of trading, and that is basically it. Other than that, guys, that is it in terms of the video. It's a very brief video because that software I feel is a hell of a lot less intuitive and a lot less simpler than all of the other softwares that have got multi settings and complex settings and multiple different bits and babs in the background that you can mess around with, and there's like death clipping and obviously in the other softwares. So it's entirely up to you if you want to use that software. I personally don't, but if you like it and you want to continue to use it, or even if you just want to give it a try, by all means give it a shot, see if you like it. Other than that, guys, that's it for the third-party tools. This is the last one that I'm going to be doing. What I am going to be doing is I am going to be doing some videos shortly in terms of other types of tools and websites that you can use to try and make your Path of Exile experience much easier. So I will be doing them shortly, so keep an eye out for those, guys. And until the next video, thank you for watching and stay sane.